समाधास्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to this class. So we will start. So we are discussing the chapter number 73 yesterday. You see, in the context of how Jarasandha was killed and how the Rajasuya Yajna was performed. This is a very, very nice pastime, because if we hear this pastime, you see, Shukadeva Goswami says, anyone who hears the pastime of how Jarasandha was killed and how Rajasuya Yajna was performed, then we will be free from all sinful reactions. This is the guarantee given by Shukadeva Goswami. So this is such an important pastime that it can free us from all the past sinful actions. So we may be wondering, why should I get rid of my sinful activities? You see, a lot of times we complain about the situation. It's not always about our ability. Yes, sometimes we have a doubt on our ability as well, but most of the time we blame it on the situation or the environment around us. We blame it on somebody. Like, it's because of them, it's because of them, it's because of them. I have this unfavorable environment that I was unable to achieve what I wanted. So this unfavorable environment that has been created in our life is because of the sinful reactions that have been done in the previous lifetime. Now, there is no way to check this. So there is no way that we can get lucky or we can remove our bad luck other than hearing the stories of Krishna. Other than Krishna consciousness, there is no way that we can clear our sinful reactions. So that is why Krishna consciousness is very important, because it makes our life completely favorable, completely free from distresses and any difficulties. So this is very important for us, that we clear our way and live a path of happiness and peacefulness and steer our way back to Godhead. This is called progressive, successful, positive thinking. Anything other than this is actually negative and I would say self-destructive also. It would not be an exaggeration to say that, because Bhagavatam says so, Krishna says so, the Vedas says so. All right. So let us begin. So we saw so far that Yudhishthira Maharaj, he wanted to do the Rajasuya Yajna, and Lord Krishna has come to Hastinapura. Not only him, he came along with his 16,000 wives. And not only his wives, even his sons also had come to Hastinapura. So everybody, Krishna and his family are there in Hastinapura right? And what happened next is, they were thinking what should be done next. So Krishna gave a way, Krishna gave a plan to defeat the various kings in the south, north, east, west, everywhere. Krishna gave a plan and it was very well executed, and all the rivals were defeated. They accepted defeat because everybody loved Yudhishthira Maharaj. They didn't even have to fight. All they had to do was just go to their kingdom and say, Yudhishthira Maharaj is wanting to establish his supremacy. Would you like to accept it, or would you like to have a war with him? Two choices. They would happily accept the first choice. They said, we are very happy. We don't want to fight a war with Yudhishthira Maharaj. We all know how powerful the Pandavas are. And they are very, very virtuous as well. We're very happy to be subjugated under them. So everybody accepted defeat, except Jarasandha. So this Jarasandha was very powerful king. He had the power of 10,000 elephants. It almost like his power was equal to that of Bhima. Now, this was a tricky thing, how to kill Jarasandha. So you see, politics and political strategies, there are different ways of solving a problem, right? Problem solving techniques, they call it, right? So it's not about getting stuck, but solving the problem. Generally, Kshatriyas are experts in solving problems, especially political problems. So they have a solution for all. And what to talk about Lord Sri Krishna? And he's been given advice by Narada. So that it must be very deep. There must be a lot of meaning to it, right? Because Jarasandha must be killed. He's one of the burdens of the earth, right? So the demons are actually burden on the earth. See, the king plays a very important role in the society. We very much undermine it. We think king is just about constructing roads. Okay, construction of roads is good. Enablement of business is fine, right? Construction of metros is okay. But that's not the primary purpose. There's a much deeper purpose for a king. King must ensure that the religious principles are being followed in the kingdom. That's much deep, isn't it? The religious principles must be enabled and they must be followed to the T in the kingdom. So the king has to ensure that that is the original duty of the king. The king is not religious, then the sinful reactions will come to appear within the kingdom. And who is going to suffer? Everybody. Everybody is going to suffer if the king is not fine. So this is something very important going on. The business that's going on, it may appear like, why is Krishna getting into so many politics? Why can't the Pandavas be just happy with what they have? Can't they just be happy with what they have and just rule whatever city that has been given to them? No, Krishna has come here for a purpose. What's the purpose? Krishna was invited by the Mother Earth for some purpose. And the purpose was to reduce the burden of the earth. Okay, reduce the burden of the earth. Is it to reduce some rocks and remove it from the earth and send it to the space? No, that's not the burden that's being talked about here. The irreligious kings, the sinful people, are the burden on the earth. You see, those people who are not following the Vedic culture, who are not following Krishna consciousness, are actually a burden on the earth. You see, that means the Mother Earth feels very, very difficult to take them. So it's just like this, okay? You know, a mother is never burdened by the weight of her children. So no matter how many children are there, mother feels more happy. If she has more children, 3 children, 4 children, she can bear the weight of it. But sinful children, no. She becomes very aggrieved by that. Even if he may be weighing only 10 kilos or 3 kilos or how many ever kilos. But then the mother is feeling very, very heavy. So that's what is the deeper meaning for this. These kings, Jarasandha, Shisupala, etc., they are all very sinful and they are troubling the living entities. They're troubling the people and they're subjugating and they're just simply power hungry and they're following these external religious principles and they're not Krishna conscious. They're not actually following the original religious principles of the Vedas. That is the Krishna consciousness. And they're actually harming the entire society by doing so. And everybody is getting affected. The entire ecosystem is getting disturbed. The demigods are getting disturbed. The forefathers and the human beings, animals, the sages, everybody is disturbed by this so-called rule of demoniac kings, if I have to put it in the correct label. Because there are always 2 types of people, you see. Divine and demoniac. That's been explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Now we think divine and demoniac. As soon as we think of a demon, we picture 2 horns on the head, somebody looking very ugly with 2 canine teeth protruding out of the mouth, blood hungry, but that's a very graphic representation. But demon is one who does not know what has to be done and what should not be done. Pravrittimcha nivrittimcha jana na vidurasura. The meaning is asura. Surasura yoga. That's called as a chapter number 16, right? So divine and the demoniac qualities explained very objectively by Lord Krishna. Qualities is like a checklist, you see. It's very easy to classify a person as a divine or demoniac based on that checklist. Very easy. So one of the principal things a demon, pravritim cha nivritim cha jana na vidu, means this asura, he doesn't know what has to be done, what has not to be done. That is very unfortunate. See, actually, if you think about it, this Kali Yuga, everybody is so confused. Really, none of them actually know what is pravritti, what is nivritti. What nivritti means what is supposed to be done, what is not supposed to be done. There's such a confusion in the society. Actually, we think that what is not supposed to be done as what is supposed to be done. See, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, pravritti, what is supposed to be done is always remember Krishna and do your prescribed duties without the sense of proprietorship and without getting attached to the fruit of the action. This is pravritti. What is supposed to be done? Nivritti, what is not supposed to be done? To be envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to ignore God consciousness, to be continuously engaged in sense gratification, to be very greedy, angry, and lusty. This is nivritti, not supposed to be done. But you see, our society more or less encourages the demoniac character and discourages the divine characters. That is normal because we are in Kali Yuga. Because of the predominant rise of the mode of ignorance, that's normal. That's going to happen inevitably. So you see, so therefore this Jarasandha and Shisupala must be killed. There's no other option there. So therefore, the perfect choice for the world is that we follow the principles of Krishna. That the entire world follows the principles of Bhagavad Gita. The world will be a different place then. Therefore, the rulers must be those people who follow the instructions of Krishna. That is, those who are Krishna conscious people. And Krishna would like that Krishna conscious people become the leaders of the society. That's what Krishna wants. We can see that very clearly. Yudhishthira Maharaj was not hankering after the kingdom, or not was he seeking the revenge on Duryodhana. But Krishna made sure that the fight happened and Yudhishthira Maharaj and Pandavas won and they came back to kingdom, because the kingdom is obviously in much safer hands, in the hands of Yudhishthira Maharaj, than being in the hands of Duryodhana. You see, this is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. If the devotee is at the helm of the affairs and he is the king, the whole world is very happy. You see, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained how the situation was when Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling the kingdom. Such beautiful verses are there. It says, the rain used to profusely fall exactly as much as it is required. Not more, not less. And all the nature used to cooperate perfectly well. Right? So at the moment, it's not the same. It's like the opposite. See, when the poor farmers, they are taking a lot of debt and then they buy everything and then they put things together. They buy the seeds, they buy the equipment, tractor, everything. And then they put the crop with an expectation that they're going to get something out of it. But then there will be heavy rains and the crop is destroyed. Or what's going to happen? There's a lack of water, famine, or some interstate issue going on and the river is not being sent to their state. Some political issue. Or the land has lost its fertility. The land has lost its fertility not because of any chemical reasons, but the reason is that the Mother Earth withdraws its medicinal properties when there is lack of Krishna consciousness on the planet. You see, there's a movement that's going on to save the soil. But if you really want to save the soil, this is the way to save it. The way to save the soil is to become Krishna conscious. If you become Krishna conscious, the Mother Earth would give out the medicinal properties. So this has been given in the Prithu Maharaj story in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Mother Earth behaved, similar situation. Mother Earth withdraws all the medicinal properties. So then Prithu Maharaj goes and attacks Mother Earth. And then Mother Earth surrenders to Prithu Maharaj, who happens to be the incarnation of Lord Krishna. And then she gives away all the medicinal properties. So right now we have no choice but to forcibly extract things by chemical fertilizers or various artificial ways of, increasing the produce. So it said in the Yudhishthira Maharaj time, the cows used to have fatty bags of milk. That means they used to deliver milk so much that they used to be overflowing with milk. But now we see, Puja Vatriva, now we see the pathetic condition of the cows in the dairy farms and how they are injected with hormonal chemicals to give that extra milk, and how they are treated so inhumanly with the robots and the machines, and there's no human touch. They don't take care of it. They don't take care of it like the way they used to do it before. See, this is the stark contrast of Kali Yuga versus Yudhishthira Maharaj time, right? So when the devotee is becomes the king, the whole world becomes very happy. The entire population, they were free of all diseases. There were no pandemics, endemics, or any kind of other kind of problems that we are facing today. That every time we need to come up with some vaccine, to fight that disease, and so many people are dying. No, there was nothing like that. Nobody was dying early. So that's chala water glass. So nobody was dying like that, right? So this is Yudhishthira Maharaj. So this is a very important activity that, it's actually very important. That's why this Krishna conscious movement is the need of the hour. That's why Prabhupada called it as Krishna consciousness movement. Just like we call it an independence movement, right? We call it as a non-cooperation movement. Movement means something like a revolution. We need this revolution. We need a revolution in consciousness of all the misdirected civilization, if I may put that words. This is all Prabhupada, borrowing from Prabhupada. It's a misdirected civilization because we are trying to say that the aim of the human form of life is sense gratification. That's what we are promoting. That sense gratification is the aim of the society, aim of the individual. No, we never know whether we're going to live again or not. We don't know what's going to happen with us. So enjoy immediately right now at the cost of anything is the message that we are getting from the society today. Okay? This is exactly what I'm saying. That a demon doesn't know what has to be done, what must not be done. So when kings like Jarasandha and Shisupala rule, Duryodhana, they are ruling, naturally, this is the same consciousness the citizens also will have. Right? So that's very important. So that's why this is called Krishna consciousness movement. It's a revolution. And this revolution is only possible by Srimad Bhagavatam. And no other Vedic literature can deliver this revolution in Kali Yuga. When Krishna has disappeared, along with him, all the religious principles left. But they have taken shelter of Bhagavatam. But they took the shelter of Bhagavatam. Simply by giving oral reception to this Bhagavatam can bring about a revolution. That's the revolution that we want. It's a spiritual revolution. It's a revolution within. It's not outside. It's not a violent civil disobedience movement that we are going on the streets. It's about change of consciousness. It's something completely gone wrong with our wiring, with the conditioning of the society, and we have to fix that. That's Krishna consciousness. Internal contamination, cleanse it. Sinful activities must be removed from the past lives, or else we're going to continue suffering. That's what we saw the story. So, we're going to see this chapter number 73. We saw how Jarasandha was approached by Krishna, Bhima, and Arjuna in the disguise of Brahmanas. Jarasandha, he saw and he was motivated by Krishna a little bit. Krishna motivated him very nicely and he said, come on, you must do charity. When Brahmana asks, you must give. That's the Kshatriya's duty. And the great kings like Bali Maharaj have done it. Harishchandra has done it. Shibi Chakravarti has done it. You must do it. Because fame is more important than the temporary body. Fame is permanent. You can live even after you die if you give charity. Because that makes you very famous. He's very motivated now and he says, yes, I'm ready to give anything if you ask me. Even if you are going to ask me for my head, I will give you. He says, okay. And now they break the suspense. They say, you see, we are not Brahmanas. I'm Krishna, is Bhima, is Arjuna. All we want is, we want a dual fight with you. One on one. You see, dual. The different types of fights, right? Army fighting with each other. When there are two armies clashing with each other, that's one kind of fight. When two individuals are fighting, again, they can fight with weapons like bow and arrow. As I'm speaking about the Vedic culture, bow and arrow, or they can fight with swords, or they can fight with lances, or they can fight with clubs, or they can fight with trees, or they can fight with boulders, rocks, like that, or they can fight directly one-on-one without anything also. That's like wrestling, just like Chanura and Mushtika were killed by Krishna in a wrestling match, right? So like that. Krishna said, we want a duel with you. So choose one from one of us three. We are ready. Any one of us, we are ready. He says, all right. And he laughs at them. He says, Krishna, I don't want to fight with you because you ran away. You ran away from Mathura and you went into the sea when I attacked you multiple times. I don't think you are my equal. Arjuna is younger than me. I don't think he's my equal. Okay, Bhima is my equal. I'll fight with him. And then they fought for a long time. Almost for like 27 days. On the 28th day, Bhima said to Krishna, I don't think this is working. This is going to go on forever. Because we have equal power. Right? I don't know what's going to happen. The result of this match. I don't see any end for this. And Krishna indicatively bifurcates. He takes a twig from the tree, bifurcates it, and shows what is supposed to be done. Then now Bhima becomes very clear what has to be done. So he puts one of the legs of Jarasandha on the ground and he stamps it and he pulls the other leg, bifurcates the body of Jarasandha into two pieces. Everybody starts crying. All the kingdom of Magadha kingdom, because the king is dead, they all start crying. And there's such a big noise that's going on in the kingdom because the king has been killed in the duel with Bhima. And now the pastime, I mean the history of Jarasandha goes like this, that when he was born, he was actually born to two mothers. Very strange. Two mothers, two halves. Left half and right half. It's very interesting, right? Because even in the medical, we see that, left hand side is controlled by the right brain, right hand side is controlled by the left brain. Am I right? Something like that, right? So two parts joined together. So first, his father thought like useless. I mean, two halves are born, throw them. He threw it in the forest. There was a demoness named Jara who joined these two parts. She thought I will eat it first, then she just joined these two. Just suddenly he came back to life, Jarasandha. So this is the way to kill him. That's why he was invincible. That's the reason why. Okay, and Krishna, he wanted Bhima to kill. See, Bhima killing, Krishna killing, there's no difference. Anybody can say why?
Because Bhima is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. He's
That's
a
right.
great Vaishnava, that's why.
That's right. So Krishna decided to kill. Either he will kill personally or he will kill through his devotees. But whether Krishna is going to kill or his devotees are going to kill, the result is the same. They're going to be liberated. So Jarasandha died in the audience of Krishna. So obviously he would become liberated. Okay. So Bhima, sometimes Krishna wants to give credit to his devotees. So of course, Krishna is capable of killing all the Kauravas himself, single-handedly. But then he doesn't do that. He wants to give credit to Arjuna, so that Arjuna is glorified. Okay. He wants Bhima to be glorified, right? So such a wonderful leadership quality, right? It's not about you, it's about your team, right? Krishna is demonstrating such wonderful qualities to all of us, right? So he loves his devotees. He's putting his devotees front, not himself first. So he wants actually that this happens, and Bhima kills Jarasandha, and now Jarasandha is dead. Finally, Jarasandha is dead. And son of Jarasandha's name is Sahadeva. Okay, this is not the same Sahadeva as Pandavas, okay? Not to be confused. So, this Sahadeva was installed on the throne, and personally by Krishna. And he gives instructions to Sahadeva to release the kings who were captured, 20,800 kings, right? So many princes and kings, they were all captured by Jarasandha, and they were kept as in a very, very, what do you say, severe, brutal, whatever you want to call it, prison. Very low standards of that prison, right? So in a cave, mountain cave, no food to eat, no dress to change, no water to bath, very, very pathetic situation. For many, many days, we don't know how many days, could be even months or even years. Now, these kings, they're just waiting for their liberation. Liberation from this prison house. Now, Krishna appears in front of these kings. And these kings, they see the darshan, they take the darshan of Lord in four-handed form. It's looking, right, with four hands, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, and they become very happy. And it is described in Bhagavatam that they were drinking Krishna's beauty. They were drinking with ice. You see, different senses can be used in a different way. How do you drink with ice? Generally, you drink with your mouth. But you can drink with your eyes when there is something very beautiful in front of you. That's Krishna, the most beautiful personality in the entire universe, in the entire creation. The creator is more beautiful than his creation. He is the most beautiful person. Therefore, his creation is beautiful. Because he is beautiful, his creation is beautiful. So when they saw him, they were very, very happy. And they did all their prayers to Krishna, and they asked that they be liberated from the birth and death as well. And they accept that they have been very puffed up by materialism. And they ask for a solution. How can they get pure devotional service of Krishna? And Krishna very happily accepts their prayers and starts to advise them that they perform their duties without affected by dualities of the material world and give it away to Krishna and give it to him. Do it as a service to Krishna. See, this is the purpose of the Vedic culture. The Vedic culture purpose is the four varnas, four ashramas, everybody is working very hard. There's nobody who should be not working. They're working in their duties. Whatever duties have been assigned to them, they're doing it. The married people are doing their duties. The bachelors are doing theirs. The renunciates are doing their duties. The retired people are doing their duty. The point here is everybody must do their duty as a service to Krishna. That's the central point of Bhagavad Gita. That's the central point of the Vedas. That is, do your duty for the satisfaction of God. Yasmin tushte jagat tushtaha. That is the success of life. When God's become satisfied by our service, that's the real service. So serve whatever you are doing the service, you give it as an offering away to Krishna. That's the perfection of human form of life. Okay, so that's what he was advised by Krishna. They were all advised and they happily went back and they started ruling their kingdom in full Krishna consciousness. We really want these kind of kings. We want these kind of people in the society. You see, in our society, we have so many roles to perform. The role of a father, mother, relative, friend, government officers, private companies, administrators, employees, army, so many different roles to be performed here. And if everybody become Krishna conscious and if they sincerely do their duty as a service to Krishna, this whole world will be a completely different place. It will be an entirely a different place altogether. So this is the perfect ism. So the so-called isms are imperfect. You can come up with 10 other isms. This ism, that ism, this is. They are all imperfect isms. This is the perfect philosophy of life. So it's better we stop this business of inventing, the perfect way of life and give a new ism name for it. And we simply accept what Krishna says. That will be very beneficial for the society. Because it's a very broad-minded thinking, okay? It's not a very narrow-minded thinking, because it's a very long-term plan. We want to be happy in this world right now. And we want to be happy in the next life. And we want to be happy forever. What is the plan? This is the plan. There is no other plan which can cover this span of time. There's no other plan which covers everybody in the universe, right? So because we want to satisfy the demigods, we want to satisfy the ancestors, we want to satisfy all the living entities and all the sages. It's not like a very narrow-minded thinking where I want to satisfy myself, my family, my state, my country. No. We want to satisfy everybody. So if you satisfy Krishna, you can satisfy everybody. Because Krishna is like the root of the tree. Simply satisfy Krishna. That's the secret of life. So now we're coming to the story of deliverance of Shisupala. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, he became very happy when he heard the story of Jarasandha, how he was killed. And Yudhishthira Maharaj starts to give his prayers to Krishna. And he says that, oh my dear Krishna, you are Satchidananda Vigraha. Satchidananda means eternity, bliss and knowledge. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Eternity, knowledge and bliss. And all the great exalted directors of this universe, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, they're all great directors, great controllers of the universe. They are always eager to carry out the orders from you. Whenever they hear an instruction from you, they carry it. You see, one such instruction, I will tell you, is we get the story of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was discussing with the sannyasis, right? The monistic sannyasis in the Varanasi. So then they were discussing that the whole world, I mean, they were discussing the monistic philosophy, monism, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, is Krishna himself, correct? And they asked him to come for a debate. And then, first of all, he was very hesitant to come. And then he finally came. When he came, first of all, he exhibited wonderful humility. So he just sat down at the place where everybody left their slippers. So then they were very moved by that. And they said, please come, don't sit there. And then Prakashananda Saraswati, he just holds his hand and makes him sit beside him. And of course, the touch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu itself is so powerful that is enough to change even the most hardcore monist to a pure devotee. So then he seats him and then he starts to debate and he says, I see that you are coming from the Sampradaya of Shankaracharya and you're a sannyasi, but I see that you are singing and dancing. But the sannyasis are not supposed to sing and dance. They are supposed to be reading the Upanishads. Can you please explain what's going on? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, actually, sir, my spiritual master said that I'm a very, very ignorant person. I'm a fool. And I cannot understand these Upanishads. These are very, very exalted literature. And he said, you simply chant the names of Krishna. Relentlessly chant the names of Krishna. Sing the names of Krishna and dance like a madman. This is the way you can become liberated. Then when they heard this, they were all shocked. Because it was such a deep message that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to them. Actually, it's a message to all of us. Because people of Kali Yuga, they don't have sufficient intelligence to understand the Upanishads. And when we go and try to interpret these Upanishads, just like how Max Muller did, you see, half-baked knowledge, not without any mode of goodness, with Western influence, not having any faith in the Vedas, and we try to interpret the Vedas, we're definitely going to go to a very false conclusion. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is warning all of us that instead of getting into speculative philosophy, simply chant the names of God. This Hare Krishna Maha Mantra has been given or recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to continuously chant the names of God. That's the way we can actually understand who is Krishna, understand this transcendental knowledge. Or else there is no other hope for us. That even if let us say we go to Banaras University and do MA in Sanskrit and do PhD and start the Upanishads, our final conclusion will be, I am God. This is the conclusion that will come. So this is completely opposite of the conclusion what is supposed to have come. This is because of Kali Yuga. We are not fit for understanding transcendental knowledge. The way is Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Iva Kevalam. That is, only by chanting the names of Krishna, we can go back to Godhead. Kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. You see? So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you see, then he completely convinces them about Lord Krishna and convinces them with the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and they are completely sold. But they say, but then why was this philosophy of monism brought about in the world? We are completely confused. We are 100% convinced that, whatever you're saying is perfect explanation. But why did this monism philosophy come at all? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, actually, it was Lord Vishnu who says to Lord Shiva this instruction. So the instruction given by Lord Vishnu to Lord Shiva was, spread this philosophy of Mayavada. Mayavadam Asat Shastram. That is, Mayavad is the philosophy of impersonalism. Just spread this. This was the instruction given by Lord Vishnu to Lord Shiva. It's given in the Padma Purana, and where Lord Shiva is telling to Lord Parvati, now see, I'm going to come as a Brahmana and I'm going to completely confuse everybody with my philosophy and say that actually, yes, the supreme absolute truth is formless. And I will make everybody opposite of Krishna. Turn their face away from Krishna because Krishna has instructed me. That's why I'm going to do this. That's what has happened. And then Prakashananda Saraswati, it was a very big bulb-on moment for him. And all the sannyasis there in the Varanasi, they completely transformed into pure devotees. So coming back here, even the great controllers like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Indra are always eager to carry out orders from Krishna. And as soon as they hear the orders, they will immediately carry out the orders. Right? So that's what has happened. So now he's saying that, I'm actually very surprised that how you are playing the part of an ordinary human being, right? Just like a dramatic artist, drama artist can play various roles, versatile, right? Every movie star wants to be a versatile movie star. They want to do different kinds of roles. You see, the greatest dramatic artist is Krishna. There cannot be better artist than him. He can perform any role so well that you will get confused completely, whether it is Krishna or whether it is the role that he is performing. And he's going to perform his role as a king, he's going to be as king. If he's going to perform his role as a Kshatriya, he's going to perform it perfectly well. Right? So we saw Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vamana, Parashurama. You take any incarnation, when they do it to the best. So you are acting like a human being, and it's like you are performing these activities like a dramatic artist. But your position is like that of the sun. Right? You know, the sun never changes, because the sun, Krishna is like the sun, the supreme absolute truth, Parabrahman. And you don't have a feeling of mine or you, right? So generally, people have this feeling of aham mameti. This is mine, this is yours, right? That's how we do it, right? So this belongs to me, this belongs to you. So let's settle it out. And mine is mine, yours is yours. That's okay to some extent. After some time, it becomes like this. Mine is mine, yours is also mine. Now that's the next level of ignorance, right? So first level of ignorance is mine, yours is yours. Second level of ignorance is yours is also mine. Everything is mine, right? So that's what happens when we become very greedy. So Yudhishthira Maharaj started to perform the Rajasuya Yajna after satisfying Krishna with wonderful prayers. He invited a lot of Brahmanas and sages. And who are these Brahmanas? Let me list them out. What Brahmanas, what sages have come? First of all, foremost, Vyasadeva, the original compiler of all the Vedic literatures, such an exalted personality. And he's also the grandfather of Yudhishthira Maharaj, isn't it? He's the grandfather of Yudhishthira Maharaj and even the grandfather of Duryodhana also, right? We all know how Vyasadeva, I mean, like children were begot from Vyasadeva, Pandu and Dhritarashtra, right? So Vyasadeva, Bharadwaja Rishi, Sumantu, Gautama, Vasishta, Chavana, Kanva, Maitreya, Trita, Vishwamitra, Vamadeva, Jaimini, Kratu, Paila, Parashara, Garga, Kashyapa, Dhaumya, Parashurama, Shukracharya, Veerasena, like that, great sages have come. Extraordinary personalities. They are all the number one, the best sages in the world. They all have come. Okay? And he called Dronacharya, Bhishma, Kripacharya, Dhritarashtra. And he also called all the demigods. It seems that even Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, Varuna, everybody were there. They were also sitting there in the Rajasuya Yajna. And kings from all over the world have come with their ministries, secretaries, and all the famous Kshatriyas, all the famous businessmen, all the people, general public, everybody came to witness this wonderful Rajasuya Yajna, which was never done in the past. It's like Nabhuto na bhavishyati. Not been done in the past, nor will be done in the future. So something very extraordinary festival. So the Brahmanas, they constructed a sacrificial arena with a plow of gold. They initiated Yudhishthira Maharaj. You know, there's an initiation that they have to do. That's called Diksha. At the time of performing the fire sacrifice, they tie a thread called Raksha to the king so that he doesn't die at the time of performance of the fire sacrifice. Because it sometimes happens that the king may die at the time of performance of the yajna, which the Brahmanas do not want to happen. Can you think of one example where the king died at the time of performance of a fire sacrifice? Let's see. Anybody can say?
Yaksha? Sati
Chakravarti.
Sati
Yeah,
Yaksha?
Raksha. Perfect. Daksha wanted to do a fire sacrifice, but then he was killed by Veerabhadra.
Lord Shiva.
Yes, Lord Shiva's assistants had killed Daksha. Right? He was dead. So like that, it is possible. Even Kamsa was killed, no? He wanted to do a fire sacrifice, Dhanur Yajna. And he was killed by Krishna. So yes, but Yudhishthira Maharaj, he want to be, the Brahmanas want him to be protected. So they tie a ritualistic thread to him, Raksha. Okay. So they tied that. And then all the exalted demigods from the heaven and all the planets have come. From the higher planet systems, Gandharvaloka, Siddhaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Nagaloka, Yakshaloka, Rakshasaloka, everywhere, all the great kings came. And they all unanimously agreed that Yudhishthira Maharaj was very much competent to perform the Rajasuya Yajna. And nobody disagreed with that fact. And the Brahmanas are very perfect in reciting these mantras. So this is very important. Okay, in any yajna, they keep one referee. Referee means a person who will oversee the entire thing. They'll be hearing very carefully. Okay, tell the mantras. There is a small mistake in the syllable also, it can cause havoc. You know, even if one syllable changes in that yajna mantra, the entire thing is gone, wasted. You'll get nothing out of it. So they will check the accent, the procedure, the proper process, everything must be perfect. So there'll be a referee who was checking that. And if it's not going to perfectly be executed, you won't get the desired result. Actually, in the Kali Yuga, there is no learned Brahmanas at all who are so learned in the Vedas and who can spell out such perfect accent. Then what do we do? So the only sacrifice recommended in the Shastras is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right? What did Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Yajnanam, what did he say? Anybody can complete that sentence? Yajnanam dash asmi. Perfect. Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. Krishna said. That means among all the sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting, we take it very lightly. But we are performing a fire sacrifice. You must think about it. Think about it. If you're going to perform every day, Ashwamedha Yajna, Rajasuya Yajna, all the exalted yajnas, all the yajnas are covered in this. You see, Vedeshu Yajneshu Tapassu Chaiva, Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pradishtam, Atyeti Punyam Idam Viditva, Yogi Param Sthanam Upayati Chatyam. That means all the ritualistic activities given in the Vedas, all the fire sacrifices, all the charities, all the vratas or austerities given in the Vedas are perfectly executed by the person who is performing Krishna consciousness. So if you're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it's actually much more than the chanting of the doing the Ashwamedha. It seems that if somebody says that by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or the chanting the names of Krishna, it is equal to 10 crore Ashwamedha Yajna. If somebody says, okay, you see, if you chant this Krishna's name, it is equivalent of doing 10 crore Ashwamedha Yajna. It is said that such a person is actually is a Pashandi. That means he's an unbeliever. He's not a believer of, he's like a fallen person. That means this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one name of Krishna is more than 10 crore performances of the fire sacrifices. You can imagine what it is. It is much more than that. You cannot, I mean, it's not quantifiable. It's not, if we quantify it, then we are like, a disbeliever. It said that we are a Pashandi. You should not even quantify it. That is the power of the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Kali Yuga is specifically meant for this chanting of the names. Just by simply chanting the names of Krishna, every religious function is perfectly carried out. Okay? So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this simplest possible way. And Srila Prabhupada has given us the practical way to do it in the modern age. How we can divide our day, how we can chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra per day, and how we can do Mangalarti by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, singing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, doing the Kirtan, listening to this Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavat. This is the greatest good for the humanity. There cannot be anything better than this. Okay, so coming back to here, the important procedure here is that Agra Puja has to be performed. Agra Puja means the foremost worship. Means the best of the people who are sitting in the assembly, they must be elected and worshipped. Now just see who are there. I told you who all are the guests here. We have all the demigods headed by Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Indra and everybody. We have residents of all the heavenly planets and all the 14 planetary systems. We have all the great kings of the world, all the great businessmen, all the human beings. Everybody is assembled there. Now they have to elect the best in the assembly, the perfect candidate who is eligible for accepting this Agra Puja. Now it's like, one person will propose. I propose this person is the best. Does anybody have any objection? Then somebody will object. Or everybody say, yes, we all unanimously accept. And they will all, they'll stand the motion. So then people were discussing, whom should we say? Should it be this? Should we call a demigod? Should we call a sage? Vyasadeva is here. Bharadwaja is there. Vishwamitra is here. Whom should we call? They were discussing. And then Sahadeva, you see Nakula and Sahadeva, right? Youngest of the Pandavas, he stood up and started actually glorifying Krishna. I would like to say something. Can I? Okay, please go ahead. Krishna is the best amongst the members of Yadu dynasty and is the protector of his devotees and he is the most exalted personality in the assembly. And therefore, I think that without any objection, he should be worshipped first. And he starts saying that agreed, there are so many demigods here, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, and many exalted personalities, Vyasadeva, Vishwamitra, everybody are there here, fine, agreed. But nobody is equal or greater than Krishna in terms of strength, in terms of renunciation, in terms of wisdom, in terms of beauty, in terms of everything. There's nobody equal to him. There's nobody who matches the opulence of Krishna. And he said, you see, Krishna is not an ordinary personality as we know him. He's actually the super soul who is present in the heart of every living entity. And we are all individual souls who are part and parcel of Krishna. Our purpose of individual soul is to serve the whole. So therefore, there's no mistake in this. This is a perfect way of understanding that because we are a part and parcel of Krishna and he is the whole, the part and parcel must worship the whole. That's the perfect thing. And Sahadeva continues to say, and actually he says, you see all the ritualistic ceremonies that we do in the Vedas, all the fire sacrifices, chanting of the holy, these Vedic hymns, all the performances of the different mystic yoga, what is the purpose of that? The purpose is to realize Krishna. Vasudeva para yoga, Vasudeva param dharma, Vasudeva paro dharma, Vasudeva para veda, Vasudeva para kriyaha, Vasudeva para makhaihi. Krishna, the purpose is highest. The purpose of all the Vedic sacrifices is to attain Krishna. The purpose of any yoga system, Vasudeva para yoga. The purpose of all the yoga systems to is attain and understand, realize Krishna. It doesn't matter whether somebody is following Karma Kanda, Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. See, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, the purpose is Krishna. You see? And this is Krishna. Actually, everything is emanating from Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy. And it's like the light and fire, or light coming from the fire. Light and fire are non-different. Similarly, you see, everything that's emanating from Krishna is not different from him, but he is the origin. aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Krishna is saying everything, material world, spiritual world, everything is emanating from me. And one who is worshipping me in this attitude is perfectly situated, he is very intelligent, and he worships me with all his heart. Instruction of Bhagavad Gita. See, Pandavas have understood Bhagavad Gita perfectly well. Also, Krishna, he can do anything with any part of his body. Right? So, Angani yasya sakalendriya vettimanti. See, Mahavishnu has created the universe by glancing. He has impregnated Mahatattva with the help of his glance. He can accept the food offerings with his eyes. He can do anything with any of his body. And he doesn't have the 6 transformations that we have: birth, existence, growth, and production, dwindling, and vanishing. These 6 transformations are not present in Krishna. And he is not affected by his Maya, because Maya is his potency. What does Krishna say? Krishna says, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Daivi Esham Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Mameva hi prapadyante, Maya metam taratiti. This divine energy of mine, Maya, the 3 modes of material nature, is very difficult to conquer. But anybody who surrenders to me can conquer that. Simply by surrendering to Krishna, we can conquer Maya. Then what to talk about Krishna? Then if somebody says, okay, by surrendering to Krishna, we can conquer Maya. But what about Krishna? Maybe he is in Maya. It's so illogical to think like that, is it not? Krishna is saying, it is my Maya, Mama Maya, it is mine. It's called Vishnu Maya. So it is his. So just like the magician and the magic tricks, the magic tricks cannot be stronger than the magician. Come on. Simple logic. So the magician is doing a lot of magic. Now we cannot say that the magic will catch hold of the magician. No. The magic is under the control of the magician. So Krishna is that magician who is causing this material universe to appear, although it is unreal. So that's what is happening. That's the external energy of Krishna. With that, he is doing the creation, maintenance, and destruction. And dharma, artha, kama, moksha, everything can be attained by simply worshipping Krishna. Religious principles, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, everything is possible only by the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, we must worship Krishna. It's just like worshipping Krishna is worship, is pouring water to the tree, root of the tree. It's not like a sectarian thing. We are pouring water to the root. That doesn't mean that we are doing some kind of sectarianism here. It's intelligence. Because if you pour water to the root, water is going to all the twigs, all the branches, all the fruits. So everybody is going to become satisfied by satisfying Krishna. The entire universe becomes satisfied by satisfying Krishna. And therefore, we must satisfy Krishna. And everybody started applauding, right? Everybody started applauding. Everybody were very happy by the speech of Sahadeva. And everybody said unanimously, everything what you have said is completely perfect. Everything what you said is completely perfect. They shouted very loudly. All the sages are a witness for this. All the demigods are witness for this. Right? Yudhishthira Maharaj got a confirmation from everyone, and then he started worshipping Krishna. Right? And what did he do? Yudhishthira Maharaj, along with his wives, brothers, children, and all relatives, ministers, everybody started washing the lotus feet of Krishna. See, such a wonderful activity. Generally, when we go for some yatra or what is Abhishekam, Panihati, we worship Lord Jagannath, right? All the devotees, all the senior devotees, everyone, they're worshipping Krishna, right? One by one, they are offering water. But what if we could offer directly to Krishna? Of course, there's no difference between the deity of Krishna and him. But just see their good fortune, they are able to worship Krishna directly. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, his relatives, all the kings, they started to worship Krishna one after the other in turns. And then they started offering various gifts to him. yellow silken garments, heaps of jewelry and ornaments. And Yudhishthira Maharaj became so ecstatic by worshipping Krishna. Right? And he became so ecstatic. Just look at this beautiful analogy. He became so ecstatic that he was unable to see Krishna. Why? Because there were so much of tears in his eyes. His eyes were filled with tears. So much profuse tears. He is not able to see him. Can you imagine that kind of ecstasy? This is called as Krishna consciousness. The bliss of Krishna consciousness is prema bhakti. Prema, the love of Godhead. Nayanam galadashru dharaya vadanam gadgadaruddhaya gira pulakaya nichitam vapukkada tavanama grahane bhavishyati. When will tears glide down from my eyes? When will my hair stand? When will my throat choke up when I chant your names, Krishna? Sikshastakam prayers. Yudhishthira Maharaj is not able to see Krishna because his eyes are filled with tears. That means he's unable to clear the eyes. His eyes are filled with tears and he's not able to see Krishna. Everybody started to chant, right? Jai, Jai. Now, Shisupala is also there. Shisupala was an enemy of Krishna. So he hated Krishna perfectly well. Because, you see, what has happened is, Shisupala was a fiancé of Rukmini. And he was supposed to be marrying Rukmini. So you see, just like we see in the movies, right? So there'll be a villain who is supposed to be marrying a beautiful heroine. And then the hero will come and stop the marriage and he will marry that lady. And then the villain is like, he just wants to take the revenge on this guy. So similarly, Shisupala is very, very insulted because Rukmini is married to Krishna instead of marrying him. So he could not tolerate this glorification. He became very angry. Okay. Now he stands up and he starts to blaspheme Krishna like anything, unbelievably. He says, ladies and gentlemen, I've heard that time factor is a very, very powerful thing and it can change everything. Because I see the influence of time on all of you. It's so unfortunate. You being such great demigods, such great sages, with such great learned scholars, you are there. And you are carried away by statement of a small boy, this Sahadeva. Right? So that's why I understand time is very powerful. That you all lost your intelligence and you're listening to this boy. And who has recommended Krishna to be fit for the sacrifice. Right? And he's saying, all you people have done so much of sacrifices. You are so learned. And you're such a great people who can deliver everybody. And there's such great sages, great demigods here. But I just cannot understand how you have chosen this cowherd boy, Krishna. You didn't find anybody else that you have to worship this cowherd boy. And he's like a crow. Right? Krishna is like that. Why are you worshipping him? He doesn't even have any caste. We don't even know what caste he is. Whether he's a Kshatriya or Vaishya, we are not able to determine. Because some are saying that he's the son of Vasudevas, but we saw that he grew up in Nanda Maharaj's house. What is he, first of all? Is he Kshatriya or Vaishya? We don't even know what caste he is. And what is his occupational duty? He doesn't have any duty, he says. But actually, this is called as Ninda Stuti. That means when he is blaspheming Krishna, all the words can be adjusted as a glorification of Krishna. When he's saying that Krishna does not have any caste, he doesn't have any occupational duty. Yes, that's a fact. Krishna does not belong to any caste. Because all the varnas are coming from him. Chatur varnyam maya srishtva. The 4 varnas are coming from him. But he is not subject to one of the varnas. He is beyond that. And of course, he does not have any occupational duty to perform. Because Krishna has specified in Bhagavad Gita. He said, Name karma nilimpanti, name karma falaspriha. I said, I have got nothing to do. But still I perform my duty just to set an example. He performs his duty just to set an example. But he has actually got nothing to do. He manages the universe with the help of his energies. He manages with the help of the time factor, with the help of his external energy. Everything is managed. Delegation. Some lessons about delegation here, right? perfect delegation. Krishna doesn't have to do it, but still he comes and does his activities. He establishes the religious principles. Right? Sambhavami yuge yuge. He appears in various incarnations and corrects the religious principles. Even though he's got nothing to do. Now Shisupala continues to say he does not belong to a high family. But he is so independent that nobody understands his principles of religion. We don't understand what is his principle. You see, he's running away from the war of Jarasandha. What is going on? Is this religious principles of the Vedas? The Vedas say that you should not run away. He's running away. The Vedas say you should not do that. He will do that. He's dancing with the gopis. He's telling lies. He's stealing. What is going on here? He doesn't have any dharma. He's devoid of all good qualities. He says gunai hina. He doesn't have any qualities. Actually, that's true. Because Krishna, he doesn't have any dharma because he is independent. The Bhagavatam first sloka says he is abhigya swarat. Swarat means he is independent. If a person is independent, he doesn't have to follow the rules. He sets the rules. He is the person who sets the rules. He doesn't have to follow the rules. Even though he doesn't have to follow, he still follows the rules to some extent to inspire us. But that doesn't mean that he must follow the rules. He can break all the rules and he can still be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the deep knowledge that we have to understand. And yes, he doesn't have any qualities, material qualities. Because he's Nirguna. Nirguna means no material qualities. Right? He does not care for any social conventions or religious principles. Okay, what will they think? What will they think? He will do anything that he wants. His Swarat is completely independent. Nobody can come and check him. If he wants, he will do anything. Right? So then he says, how can we accept him? Right? And he's saying that, Krishna has run away from Mathura and he has taken shelter of the sea, Dwaraka, and he made a fort here. Right? And, and whenever he comes out of the fort, he simply harasses the citizen like a dacoit, thief or rogue. So he's become completely crazy. Okay, he's putting some crazy allegations here. He's saying Krishna, when he comes out of the fort, he harasses the citizens. So he's become completely crazy now. Okay. So Shisupala continued to insult, right? Like that. So that's what has happened. So, but Krishna was patiently hearing to Shisupala. Very patient. Just like, lion doesn't care when the jackals are howling. The lion will be sitting and, royally sitting and, doesn't care about it, right? Like that. Krishna did not reply to even one single accusation of Shisupala. And he did not even get agitated also. Right? But all the members in the meeting, they became very agitated. Okay? It's actually the duty of any person to not tolerate blasphemy against a God or devotee. It's a very important lesson for us. Okay? If the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, is blasphemed, we must not hear that. If a devotee is blasphemed, we must not hear that. Now the choice is we must just leave that place. We should leave that assembly. We should not hear that blasphemy of the devotees. It's very bad. Okay? People don't understand that. What is the importance of the Vaishnavas, importance of the pure devotees of Krishna, the importance of Krishna. Without having any knowledge, they just continue and start criticizing. Oh, you people, you don't know anything. Blah, 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 blah. You don't know what you're doing. Okay, this is very wrong. Because if somebody does that, they become bereft of all pious activities. And they become degraded to a lower condition of life. It's very dangerous. It's the worst thing that we can do actually. Right? Blasphemy of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So, and then people became so angry that they wanted to kill Shisupala. Right? But Shisupala just continued. And he was also ready to fight. And Krishna saw that everybody is going to fight now in that auspicious Rajasuya Yajna arena. He said, please sit down. He said, he specified all the kings. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Please cool down. Please cool down. Relax. Sit down, sit down. And he personally decided, I'm going to kill him. So just he took out his Sudarshan Chakra and immediately separated Shisupala's head from his body. Immediately killed Shisupala. When Shisupala was killed, there was a big noise in the complete arena, right? Everybody was shocked. And Shisupala's supporters, They ran out of that assembly. There were still some supporters of Shisupala who were going to still come out because the Mahabharata war is still not done. They all will come and join with Kauravas, right? So now see what's going to happen. Very interesting. Shisupala's soul came out and immediately merged in the body of Krishna. Right? And then you see, Shisupala is actually coming from Vaikuntha. Did you know that? Is Jaya and Vijaya. You see, Jaya and Vijaya, they are the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha. They were cursed by the 4 Kumaras to take 3 consecutive births as demons, to become deadly enemies of the Lord. So for 3 lifetimes, so they become Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, Shishupala and Dantavakra, right? And Ravana and Kumbhakarna. Right? So first is like Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and Shishupala and Dantavakra. So at the end of these lives, they're supposed to go back to Vaikuntha. So Shishupala, he acted as the perfect enemy of Krishna. And not even one moment he forgot Krishna. He was always absorbed in the thought of Krishna. Here is some lesson for us. When you hate somebody, you are actually thinking about them. When you don't like somebody, you should really think, does this person even deserve to be present in my mind? Just think about it. When you're meditate, that means you're actually meditating upon those people whom you don't like. Do you realize that? You don't like somebody and you're thinking about them 24/7, remembering about what they did, what they've done to you. I don't know, at the end of the life, if you continue doing that, you're going to be born along with that person again. This is not what is supposed to be done. You are supposed to actually, you don't like somebody, then don't think about them. Why do you want to think about it? So this is the lesson. Krishna, he hated, so Shishupala hated Krishna to the core. Right from his birth, he used to hate him 24/7. That is his style of remembering Krishna. That is his style of Krishna consciousness. Of course, that's not recommended by the acharyas. That we do in an unfavorable Krishna consciousness is not recommended. But in principle, even if somebody hates Krishna also, he'll go back to God. He'll go back, and at least he'll be merging with Krishna. But that hatred should be pure hatred, perfect hatred. 24/7 you should hate. But again, the acharyas say, Anukulyena Krishna Anusilana. It's not about unfavorable devotional service. It's about being favorable, saying yes to Krishna. If Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, think of me, yes, we shall think of Krishna. Krishna says, pay obeisances unto me, yes, we shall pay obeisances to Krishna. Krishna says, always glorify me, we shall glorify Krishna. Follow Krishna and his representatives. This is Anukulyena Krishna Anushilana. Now Shishupala is dead. And Yudhishthira Maharaj started to give remuneration to all the sages for executing the sacrifice very nicely. After the sacrifice is done, there is a ritualistic bath that has to be done. That's called Avabhrita bath, Avabhrita Snana. So this is a very special bath that is supposed to be done at the end of the fire sacrifice. So now that's how this Rajasuya Yajna was successfully completed. Right? And then Yudhishthira Maharaj requested Krishna to stay back. Right? And so therefore he remained in Hastinapura for a few more months. Right? That's what happens. No? See, if we love somebody, our relatives, our friends, if they come to our house, their scheduled time to go has come, their dates of tickets have come, but then we say, please cancel your trip. Just stay back with us. So this is love, right? So when you love somebody intensely, we ask them to stay back. Don't go. Please don't go. So Yudhishthira Maharaj said, please don't go. Don't go. Don't leave Hastinapura. So like that. And then like that, he stayed there for some time. And then after a couple of days, he took permission from Yudhishthira Maharaj and he returned back to Dwarka along with his queens and ministers. Okay. So we saw this, how Yudhishthira Maharaj took his bath at the conclusion of the sacrifice, and he was looking very beautiful after that bath. And he generously rewarded everybody who participated in the yajna, including the demigods, everybody became very satisfied, and they all left praising king's activities and glorifying Lord Krishna. Right? So you see, this is very important here. Everybody was happy after the successful termination of Rajasuya Yajna, except one person. Only one person was unhappy. Can anybody say who was it? Kisi guess?
Duryodhan.
Perfect. Yes. Everybody is happy except Duryodhana. Right? So now we will see in the next chapter what happens. Okay, so very interesting turns. Why Duryodhana felt insulted at the end of Rajasuya sacrifice is the next chapter. Okay, so now Shukadeva Goswami is actually giving this class of Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj about the pastimes of Krishna, about killing of Shisupala and Jarasandha and the releasing of the imprisoned kings. You know, these stories are not, it's not a story. This is transcendental vibration. Simply by hearing these narrations, we'll be immediately freed from all reactions of sinful activities of life. Whatever sinful activities that we have performed in the past lives, it can be of any magnitude. They will all be nullified by hearing the spiritual vibrations. See, that's why listening to Srimad Bhagavatam Krishna Katha is very important. So I'll just want to end with one verse, very beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from the first canto, second chapter, 17th verse. Shrunmatam swakata Krishnaha punya shravana kirtanaha hridyantasto hiya bhadrani vidunoti suhritsatam. Shrunmatam swakatham Krishna. That means by hearing the stories of Krishna, what happens? Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So our desire for material enjoyment is cleansed if we develop this urge to hear this message of Krishna. If you properly hear this Krishna Katha, Srimad Bhagavatam, the benefit is all the contamination from our heart is cleansed. This contamination of our heart is the cause for our repeated birth and death. This is the cause for our material sufferings. So therefore, this is very relevant. This is very important for every living entity in this world. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you very much.
Prabhuji, I have a question. Why did Lord Shiva talk about monism to Vishnu, and what context, and why does Krishna agree or tolerate it? I don't know how. Cannot understand, Prabhuji.
What has happened is in the Padma Purana there is a description of this. It is Lord Vishnu who goes to Lord Shiva and he says that in Kali Yuga, I want you to create a philosophy that will make people opposed to me so that they do not come to me. Now the question is, the follow-up question can come. Why does God want to do this? Why does God want to make people not able to come to him? It's supposed to be opposite, right? God should be enabling all of us to be able to go to him. Why is he doing this? It's as simple as that. If I ask you the question, there's a teacher who wants everybody to pass. Agreed? But still, the teacher will set a very difficult question paper. Why? Can anybody answer? Or Mataji, can you answer? Why, even though the teacher wants everybody to pass the examination, still he sets a very difficult paper. Why?
Maybe
So
just
that
to
he can be
see to
thorough.
filter out the hardworking versus the less
Yeah.
working students.
Why not
To
just give
bring
away?
out their
Just,
full potential.
just give a very easy questions, like very basic questions. Everybody give 100 out of 100 and finish. What do you say? Does any teacher do that? Any sincere teacher will do that like
To make
that?
the student learn, to make the student learn more.
Yes.
To
there
bring
must
out
be
their full potential.
to bring out the full potential, to bring out the best. Right? A teacher raises the bar. Right? So we have to touch that bar. We cannot fall short of it. Correct? So Kali Yuga is a special yuga. Please understand. This chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is very powerful in Kali Yuga. And simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, we can go back to God. If it is so simple, then everybody we can go back to God. That's nice, but everybody can go back to God. But they need to have some qualification, some purity in heart, right? So how do you set that bar? How do you distinguish from people who are not so sincere and who are really pure in heart? So here is the thing, that this philosophy of monism, impersonalism, it makes Krishna equal to the living entity. An insincere person will become happy by hearing it. It says, yes, yes, I am Krishna. You see what's going on? Why only Krishna? I am Krishna. You see what's going on behind this philosophy? Very beautifully presented. Everything is very nice, very amazing, but it's completely very, very deluding. Because we have got an opposite conclusion by saying that I am Krishna. I am the servant of Krishna is the correct understanding, not I am Krishna. So what has happened is, in Padma Purana, there's a description. Lord Vishnu tells to Lord Shiva, in Kali Yuga, I want you to manufacture one philosophy called Mayavada and tell everybody that everything is one and confuse all the living entities. And Lord Shiva said to Parvati, yes, I shall do that. I shall come in the form of a Brahmana and I shall delude the entire world by my philosophy. And I shall say in that philosophy that supreme absolute truth is impersonal. There's no personal form of God. It's impersonal. I will say. And I will say that Krishna is equal to everybody and everybody is equal to Krishna. That's what, this is my service given by Lord. Okay?
So that person is Shankaracharya.
Yes, that is Lord, that is Shankaracharya, yes. Because that was a service that is Lord Shiva himself. There's a service given by Lord Vishnu. Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Hare Krishna Gangai Prabhu. Dhanay Pranam.
I want to wish you a Dandudam. Thank you very much. Very, very,
Hare
very
Krishna, Prabhuji.
nice.
Thank you.
So much attractive this story with so many examples and all. Very much excited to hear this. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.